am in really good shape. In fact, I'm in better shape than most of you.
Can you imagine this guy knew you would die in just a few months? Mr. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. This was Randy Parsh, sorry. I knew I would make this mistake. Randy Parsh. He's a professor at Khalid Abbad University, a computer science professor. And he's an expert at virtual reality. This guy has a professional legacy. His legacy is a software called Alice. This software allows little boys and kids to develop programming skills by simply storytelling or movie making. They make movies and they learn how to program. But this is not the interesting thing about this guy. He was diagnosed last year with terminal pancreatic cancer. And he died last July, a jubilant man. And yet, before he died, he made a big bang. In Carnegie Mellon, they have this tradition. Every professor would, at some point of his career, give a speech or a lecture in which he would tell his students what lessons he wants to tell them if he were to die. And for this guy, his lecture was scheduled only 1 week after he knew he was dying soon. He decided to give a speech about how to really achieve your childhood dreams and how to lead your life. And his speech or lecture was amazing. It was really positive. I mean, not dying man positive, it was really, really positive. And not just that. It was humorous. This guy had amazing self-deprecating humor. He made fun of himself very well. And even though this guy was talking about himself as an arrogant man, he called himself a jerk at times, he seemed to be very humble in his speech. I was really amazed at his humility. In his speech, he taught us so many amazing lessons. I don't have the time, it was 140 minutes. I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that I learned from his speech. For instance, he told about something called a head fake. And a head fake is simply when you talk about something and tell people to learn, like for instance, you want them to learn about something and you really mean something different that's even more amazing. For instance, this Alice program is the best example of a head fake. People think they are telling stories or making movies, and in fact, they are learning how to program. This is beautiful. And in his speech, he also had some really profound and amazing sayings by him or he learned from others. One of the things that I really liked is when he talked about criticism. He said, if people are criticizing you, it means that they have not given up on you. It's a good thing. If people stop criticizing you, we should start thinking and doing something really wrong. Another thing that I really enjoyed about him, he talked about walls. And do you know what he said? He said that walls are there to be broken. Therefore the others, not for us. And it's a good lesson. His speech was really touching. And I urge every single person of you to go and listen to it. When you do, some of you will want to cry, others will actually cry, and some will want to fake it. It was a great success. Millions of people were inspired by it. At least 10 million people viewed it online. So he decided to turn it into a book. And the book was also a great success and an amazing book. I really enjoyed that book. But still, this is not why I admire this guy. The best thing I believe this guy did was how he behaved in his last 6 months. This guy was dying at 47 years old. Extremely young. And he had 3 children and a widow that he knew would live without him. And it was really painful and very heartbreaking for him. So what did he do? He dedicated the rest of his life for them. But he did not suffer. He did not make make it a sad thing. What he really did is he celebrated every single moment of it. This guy is good at having fun. I mean, one of the quotes that he had in his speech that I really enjoyed was when he said, "I cannot stop having fun. I am dying and I'm still having fun." And you can see that if you look at his speech as a whole. I mean, I wanted to pick some few seconds to show you, and I didn't know where to pick them because it was all fun. This guy did not stop there. I mean, yes, he gave for his family, but also he gave for the community. We all know that cancer is bad. But how many of you know how bad is pancreatic cancer? Pancreatic cancer is one of the worst forms of cancer there is. The fatality rate is extremely high. And those who survive cannot last long. I mean, 5 years, if you live after pancreatic cancer, you're really in good shape. So he went and did a good job. He actually went to the Congress and talked to them about that. This man spent his last few months living. He gave us a legacy that I cannot imagine. I mean, he spent his time giving interviews, inspiring people over and over. And he started a new movement. People started coming in front of audiences and reprising his speech, telling it in their own words. I'm really impressed by this guy, and I really want you to try listening to him and see how his speech was about living and not about dying. And a final thought I want to leave with you is something I talked about a few days ago. You know, as Toastmasters, we sometimes try to think a lot about table topics, so when we're coming here, we know how to answer. And there's a common one that asks you, what would you do if you knew that you had only a few months to live? You know, I figured the answer to that. What I will tell them is that I'll live it like Randy. Thank you.